Gathering Art Stories in Place was a 2-year project that was funded by the National Endowment for the Arts, Our Town grant. It was a pretty large grant that was granted to Milwaukee Public Library and Artists Working in Education. And also 2 artists were also were in the beginning, Adam Carr and Sonja Thomsen. With their Listening to Mitchell project, we wanted to archive that project.
Sonja and I did a public art project a few years ago on Mitchell Street. We put a ton of time, a ton of work into it, and then it was over. That was the plan, but we didn't want the project just to disappear when we were done. We explored a few different ways of keeping that energy going, and then the library announced they were coming to Mitchell Street, and we entered into a collaboration with them to be fusing some of the spirit and ideas that we started in our collaboration into this collaboration with the library, along with other artists and community members, was so far beyond what we could have ever hoped. Even in the early phases, the development of this project, as an institution, the library, they think walls in, and our project was about existing beyond and between walls. So they got to challenge us, and we got to challenge them, and we got to invite great community leaders and artists into that process. Even a lot of the work we started with our project Listening to Mitchell, we got to continue within Gathering Art Stories in Place and take it beyond where we thought we could.
So what I wanted to do was really respond to different parts of the project and to highlight that in conversations. So with the archive project, Listening to Mitchell, they had found out that there was a huge hip hop scene back in the day here on Mitchell Street. So the first couple of talking shops, I wanted to bring those people and give them a platform to talk about what it was like back in the day when this used to be actually just a place where people came to gather and break dance. So we actually turned the community room into a place to dance. We got a dance floor out, like all the old hip hop heads came, Alderman Perez came, and people got to come and gather and really share their stories about what Mitchell Street was and where they'd like to see it in the future.
So through our Artist in Residence program at AWE, we partner professional artists with community groups at schools, community centers, youth centers, shelters, anywhere where community and youth gather. And what was really great about the Mitchell Street Artist in Residency program is that we had a dedicated space for a whole year. And the beautiful thing about that was really the deep relationships that our artists were able to form with the community, especially the youth and the teens that we're able to help them and create their projects with them and really share their voice and their ideas with the artists and have that highlighted and kind of put on a pedestal.
A year-long residency for an artist is kind of rare everywhere, but definitely rare here in Milwaukee.
I think libraries are changing, and for a library, I think in the 21st century, having an artist in residence for the first time, it's sort of like, I wanted to be part of that innovation that was going to happen in the space, right? Activating it. And also, like, for me, libraries are very much a collection or an archival thing of stories. And I wanted to be part of the collection and the archive of interactions and community building that was going to happen in the space.
Building that on as Eric was still working here, it just kept on growing. And then bringing Celeste on, I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a whole different kind of experience, but it was just amazing and how like that energy just kept building up, and it was just like another amazing person in the space to like keep building these art programs forward.
Because of Milwaukee Public Library, because of Artists Working in Education, because of the Our Town grant, I feel a reassurance that artists can be supported financially, in an institution, with a community. Those were 3 things that I didn't expect would come together in such a beautiful way. So this summer, we worked on a community mural in the makerspace with the teen interns. And working with these teen interns was by far the best part. Yeah, that's the best part of my whole year, is working with the teen interns. We went on a tour together as a group of Mitchell Street, And we wanted to talk to different businesses and sort of get a feel of what's happening on Mitchell Street. And during that tour, there were magical moments between the teen interns just goofing around. And then when we went to the design table, we designed 2 murals that represented current Milwaukee, including Mitchell Street, highlighting Mitchell Street, and then the ideal world of Milwaukee that we saw. And so the murals sort of were reflections of the city and then of what we want it to be. And so with that, the teen interns designed everything. I helped them draw things out. They had reasons for every, design element, every paint color, from the roots to the sky. Everything was just really thought out. And we did it in about 2 months, and I couldn't believe how these teen interns would wake up early every Saturday, and we were just painting this mural during their summer break. And it was a beautiful experience.
One aspect of making these murals that really stood out to me and that I really enjoyed was just the teamwork with everybody working together, and so many different personalities that were put together in this mural and shown throughout the mural itself. Doing these pillars beforehand, I had never really made my mark on anything as large as this, but just to work on these pillars and to even make the color pop a little bit more in a place that is going to remain forever, it really makes me feel like, as a teenager, I made my mark on the world.
It feels pretty great because I can leave here saying like I made that, and everyone is just like in awe with like that, with the pillars and stuff, and it means that I'll leave an imprint, a good one at that too, a beautiful one.
My favorite part about making this mural would have to be being able to plan it, being able to be a teenager with some say-so of how my community would look, and just being able to bring everybody together.
Our second artist in residence, Celeste Contreras, she was really focusing on artist books, and a lot of people didn't know what artist books were. So they were getting to learn through different workshops that she was doing. So we wanted to really do actually a series to talk about artist books, because as it turns out, we have artist books in our libraries that people don't really know about. They kind of are hidden.
There weren't really artist books being showcased. I know they're there. I know there's few of them, but I sort of wanted to highlight, like, you're an artist, you want to make books, you're in a library, it sort of all makes sense in a lot of ways. And so with that artist bookshelf, I was really trying to like bridge all of those together.
The final piece of the Gathering Art Stories in Place project that was definitely one of the most challenging parts of the grant, but the most rewarding, was the Deaf Story Slam.
Fabula's participation in the GAS project grew when we were invited to help do some programming for the deaf community. A few years ago, Fabula had done a storytelling workshop for the deaf community, and participants said that they really wanted a story slam. So when the opportunity presented itself to do one as part of this project, we were super thrilled. The whole process of putting together workshops and a story slam took about a year, but the relationship building started even before that.
I'm hoping that this event shows people the awareness of deaf culture. I hope it opens their eyes to understand that we're not just signs. We are about intonation. We are about facial expression and how our face kind of shows the different types of angst and anxiety and wonderment and everything that they bring into this intonation that hearing people do with just their voice. And I want to show how that is a part of not just our language, but our culture.
So it's always nice to be able to come across opportunities like this to educate people and break down barriers. Something that maybe could be a simple thought of a story slam like this, it has a huge effect, especially on our community and our culture. And at the same time, it allows us to collaborate with a lot of different organizations and a lot of different people, and with people that we would, I guess, label as elite or superiors.
Well, it's always amazing to me when I'm out in the community how many people want to tell me how great the Mitchell Street branch is.
The project has really made Mitchell Street branch like a flagship branch. So it's the branch that other staff around the system are wanting to emulate when it comes to the amount and quality of programming. So it's really setting the bar high for the whole system to be able to have really high quality programming that's making a difference in the community.
Being able to see the effect that it has on people and the effect that it has on people's lives, like really, it does something to my heart.
Artists Working in Education has been extremely grateful to partner with the Milwaukee Public Library over the past 2 years, especially through this Gathering Art Stories in Place project.
Libraries are much more than just a collection of books. They are an epicenter of communities. They are high transit influx places where people can make together. Yeah, I think the future of libraries is going to be like at the intersection of many art forms, right? Not just literature.